morning to everybody. Happy Sunday. It's Daryl here. It's 4 a.m. here in Connecticut on the East Coast. Okay, it's a serious day. There's the Million Militia March today, which I pray to God calmer minds prevail. But I need a good laugh today, all right? I need a good laugh. So let's talk about Mike Lindell, the MyPillow guy, and his one-on-one meeting with the most powerful man in the world, the President of the United States. The MyPillow guy presenting his internet conspiracy theories to the most powerful man in the world. This is the country we live in right now. All right. Wow. Hey, Mike, I got a joke for you. What puts more people to sleep? Your pillows or your book, your autobiography? Anyway, all right. I'm going to get to Mike's book in a second. He gives crack addicts a bad name. Seriously. All right. But anyway, so Mike Lindell, ever the careful. He's on the back porch and he's holding, we've all seen the pictures. He's holding up his notes. So any photographer with a telephoto lens could read every word on the page, which they did. And it talks about militias and the scary stuff is he's trying to convince the president that martial law is a viable option. He's trying to convince the president that he can force Twitter and Facebook to put him back on. Basically, Mike Lindell's idea to the president is sign up executive order, taking over Facebook and Twitter, and putting himself back on Twitter and Facebook. Doesn't it really sound like Mike Lindell is advocating for a ruling fascist dictator? Really, he wants the president to take over the biggest companies in our country and make himself chief executive and rule the country with the military. This is the advice of the ex-crack addict and pillow maker that got to see the president. This is the country that we are living in. Okay, so obviously, the president the president, as usual, is concerned with the president. And at this point, with packing and what he's going to pilfer from the White House and who to abuse next in his staff, he doesn't really have time for the MyPillow guy. He's moving on. As usual, he's concerned about Donald Trump. And it's no big surprise that he shuffles Mike Lindell off to the National Security Advisor, Robert O'Neill, I think his name. I'm not sure. I might have got that wrong. And Mike Lindell says how the National Security Advisor didn't treat him too nicely. They took him upstairs to see a couple lawyers who basically laughed Lindell out of the room, sent him outside, and never gave him an audience again with the president. Just basically showed him the back door. Thanks, Mike. Thanks, Mike. We're going to take that under advisement. Wow. Dude, just the fact that this guy got in with a personal audience with our president. Mike Lindell's objective was he was concerned that Trump couldn't see all these dark corners of the internet and all these theories, and he put them all down on different pages of typewritten notes, and he had to show the president this stuff because this is important, valid information that he got off the dark corners of the internet that could help rule the largest, most powerful nation in the world. This is the country we're living in right now. All right, unbelievable, man. And people are concerned about Biden being old. All right. Anyway, I want to talk a little bit about Mike Lindell. I haven't read his book, but I looked into it. Now, you guys know I got 25 plus years of being a crack addict to heroin addict. Mike, you make addicts, you make current crackheads look bad. And you make recovering addicts, you make everybody look bad. I get the gist of it. He talks about, the gist of it, this book, the one that puts everybody to sleep better than his pillows. The gist of it is he talks about a little tavern in his town with a host of colorful regulars that do drugs and deal drugs. Mike, there's one of those bars or taverns. There's at least one in every town across this entire country. I don't know how out of touch you are there in Minnesota, but there's one of these little bars. This is life in America, is what it is. The fact that this guy got a book deal is amazing. Maybe, I'm not sure if he got a book deal or he published this himself. That would make more sense. So then he talks about this hair-raising trip to Mexico where he got roughed up in a drug deal gone awry. Who would have ever imagined that? This pudgy, white bread Minnesotan going down to Mexico with a pockets full of money to do a drug deal. Who would have ever guessed that that would go awry? Man, Mike. Look, okay, let me fill you in on my story, which isn't even a book, which is just in my head. All right, just what happened to me. And this is a more realistic story than this Minnesotan having this hair-raising venture. All right, I went to an Aerosmith concert when I was 17, all right? I met a guy from Arizona who gave me some raw opium. He told me he could get more from me. He went home to Arizona. I had Federal Express an ounce of opium every day from Arizona, which I then sold every day in Connecticut, making a couple $1,000s a day. Didn't realize at 17 that was interstate narcotic trafficking, by the way. I believe the 7 years is up now, so I hope I can't get prosecuted on this stuff. I'm in recovery. That was over 40 years ago. All right, and I would go down, then I started to get into cocaine, and I would go down to the South Bronx and Harlem, okay? And Mike's hair-raising trip into Mexico, man, Mike, if you have ever been to the South Bronx or Harlem, it'll make your little Mexico trip look like a little jaunt through the Wizard of Oz and the Lollipop people. Man, I remember shooting. I remember, okay, let me just tell you one story, all right? I was mostly meeting with Haitians, Dominicans, Jamaicans, gangs in the South Bronx, all right? And one day, he said, "Hey, man, you want some hardware, man?" He pulls out, I believe it is Tech 9s and Mac 10s. For $1,000, I could get a Tech 9 with a light suppressor and a silencer. "Hey, man, you want to try it?" So they basically own blocks of territory and empty factories. You know the movies like New Jack City? That was a soft look at reality back in in 88, 89, 92. In the South Bronx, in Harlem. It was more real than what you saw in the movies. So he takes me to, it's like the 3rd floor. You'd think it would be in the basement. It's a shooting range, a built-in, and not this kind of shooting range, a shooting range. "Go ahead, man, try it." And so it's got a silencer and a light suppressor on the end. And I just hear, it's like a tap, 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 tap. So at first I don't even realize that bullets are coming out. And the thing just goes like this. It puts holes all up in the wall and the ceiling. Oh, man! No. So, yeah, that was just one trip. Of course, I never ended up buying it or anything. That was just one trip. One day, 1 week to the South Bronx. And Mike Lindells talks about this hair-raising trip to Mexico. Oh, man. Mike, I like, seriously, you should use your book for a sleep aid. Just some thoughts on Mike Lindell today. Thankfully, he got shown the door and his little trip to inform Donald Trump of these important theories on the internet. Wow. This is your president. Trump supporters, this is your president. All right, I'll be back later with another video. Guys, have a good Sunday.